It's a multiple vehicle pileup. I knew as soon as I saw the bill there was going to be trouble. The thing was as big as a Costco, and Speaker Johnson had to add a lot of spending porn to get the Democrats on board.
Spending porn. Senator John Kennedy, of course, reliably hilarious. Speaker Johnson had to add a lot of spending porn to get it going. Bam, 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 bam. So much to talk about here. Remarkable things. And there's a bit of breaking news, too. A Georgia appeals court has stripped Fani Willis. What? How could they do that? Well, they stripped Fani Willis. They disqualified Fani. You know, in the Trump ginned up third world persecution case in Georgia by left-wing radicals who amazingly made it through law school. And Fani Willis, who likes to be called Fani, you have to pronounce the A differently, but she's Fani Willis, disqualified from the Trump election case by the Georgia Appellate Court. However, they have allowed the indictment to stand. The indictment will stand, but Trump Georgia election case, the district attorney there, who is a radical leftist abuser of power, Trump derangement syndrome specialist, and Fani Willis disqualified, but indictment stands. An appeals court jumped in. A Georgia appeals court disqualified Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis from overseeing the criminal election interference prosecution of President-elect Donald Trump and other defendants. But the appeals court let stand the indictment against the defendants who are accused of crimes related to their efforts to overturn Trump's loss in Georgia's 2020 election to President Joe Biden. Now, that is kind of a big deal. That's the, 11 votes. What are they? And the Democrats, they keep counting in certain counties until they say, well, we won. And then they stop counting. There are a lot of very corrupt people out there. And many of them are in the news media, too. And since we're talking about corruption, let's talk about this continuing resolution up on Capitol Hill with 1,547 pages. 1,547 pages. And that's a lot of pages for a continuing resolution, which probably should be about 12 pages or maybe 20 pages. But it's so full of pork and corruption that the Democrats love it. And that means the news media loves it, because the news media, the most corrupt institution in America, is key to corrupting everything. In fact, I get my Washington Post at the front door every day. And the lead story, upper right-hand corner, A sectional, page 1. And listen to how the Republicans are the villains of the story. GOP scraps deal on budget after revolt from right. See, revolt is a negative term, and from right, it's all in there. And the GOP scraps the deal. Without action, shutdown is days away. And little Timmy and his scout troop won't be able to go to Jellystone Park and get their merit badges. And it's all the mean Republicans' fault, and you should never vote for them when you grow up. Pressure from Musk, Trump dooms bipartisan bill. See, it's not, now the Democrats threw in hundreds of billions in pork projects, and they've made the bill impossible to vote for if you're a person of conscience. But that's okay, because Democrats. And the story reads, Republicans scrapped House Speaker Mike Johnson's bipartisan plan. It's Republicans scrapped it, and it's his bill, and it's bipartisan plan to avert a government shutdown as President-elect Donald Trump and Elon Musk joined a broad swath of the House GOP on Wednesday to condemn a compromise bill full of Democratic policy priorities. It's a compromise bill. Shouldn't have compromised, because these people will murder your children in the bassinet for one more vote in the House. The rebuke, the charged language is everywhere, which built steadily throughout the day and culminated with a long written statement from Trump in the late afternoon, has forced Johnson back to the drawing board. Good. On a plan to prevent a Christmas time shutdown. You know how they're very religious people, the left. They would crucify Christ this afternoon if he returned to earth, but never mind that. And maintain the support of his chaotic conference to be reelected as Speaker early next year. Now, it's true, the vote for Speaker of the House with the Republicans in charge is scheduled to take place on January 3rd. January 3rd. There are now only 434 instead of 435 members of the House of Representatives, and Mike Johnson would need 218 of those votes to remain Speaker of the House, and he may or he may not, but that's not really important now, because this is Washington, broken Washington, on parade, on display, and it should be noted. It should be very much noted. Amazing stuff. Now, in the bill, there's a big pay raise for Congress, the first one in 15 years for Congress. That's a big pay raise for members of Congress, and that's great. And members of Congress can opt out of Obamacare. They can opt out because they know that it sucks, that it's awful, and nobody wants to be a part of it. They voted for it. They put it in there, the members of Congress, and they jammed it down our throats. And now they think when nobody's looking, and look, CNN and the Washington Post are not looking, they know it's happening, but they don't care because they're corrupt. They're filthy, corrupt people. And amazingly, they put in there, oh, yeah, we can get out of Obamacare. Vote for this bill, we can get out of Obamacare. And there is $100 billion for hurricane relief. So if you don't vote for a pay increase for Congress and members of Congress to get out of Obamacare, then they're going to turn around and say, you voted against hurricane relief for North Carolina. Why do you? And there are billions, tens of billions for farmers. And you voted against relief for farmers. Why is that all in this bill? Just to keep things going as usual. And the answer is because they're all corrupt. They're all corrupt. There's a lot of corruption. Now, there's a kind of an amusing story that made us laugh this morning here at the radio station. Front page, lower left corner. Analysis of ancient DNA hints at syphilis's origin. They're looking at DNA and the origin of syphilis they're discovering. Sure, that's study suggests disease emerged in the Americas before ravaging Europe. Syphilis. Now, I knew this. When I was a kid, I knew this. That syphilis came from Native Americans, and then they brought it back to Europe with them on rickety wooden ships. I knew this. I don't know why this is alarming. But what the alarming part is that we didn't know before this study came out, is that back in ancient times, there were already Democrats in the Americas. Because that's kind of crazy. And they were, usually, of course, they're the party of syphilis, naturally. Al Capone and all that stuff. But syphilis, they discovered the origins, DNA. Democrats is the explanation for all of it. All right, but let me get back to this because there's a lot going on. And this bill is so full of crazy stuff, so full of ridiculous stuff that nobody, again, with a conscience, nobody in their right mind would vote for it. President Trump says Republicans who back spending bill without debt increase, not putting a debt ceiling, but debt increase, should face primary. That Republicans should have Republican primary challenges for Republicans that vote for this continuing resolution. And if they vote for it without increasing our debt ceiling, now that's kind of a peculiar thing, but that's what's going on with that. And President Trump he's in an interesting situation here. Pretty amazing. So one of the things in this bill is that Democrats put a provision in here. It's quite amazing. And Elon Musk is tweeting about it on X. He owns X, and Trump owns Truth, and it's good to be them, I think. But Elon Musk, there's this amazing provision in here that there's language that will prevent any investigation, because there's talk right now of Liz Cheney, who is a member of the January 6th committee, possibly facing criminal charges, or an FBI investigation at least, for destroying evidence and not allowing exculpatory evidence to be introduced during the January 6th hearings, right? And others, in addition to Liz Cheney, the Adam Schiffs of the world for lying to the American people corruptly, destroying, and there are others as well. But there is language in here that would prevent any investigation of the conduct of the January 6th hearings, which were corrupt as hell. The whole thing was corrupt. There was an abuse of power, and then they destroyed evidence, mountains and mountains of evidence all over the place. And so the Democrats wrote in here, and somehow Speaker Mike Johnson allowed this to become a part. You got to blow this thing up and start over again. You got to scrap this, dump it, start over again. Even Elon Musk is tweeting today. The bill they're trying to pass right now would prevent investigating their wrongdoing, because that's what corrupt people do with power. They abuse it to enrich and to protect themselves from their abuses. So why didn't the Department of Justice bother to tell us that after a 3-year FBI investigation, a grand jury determined that Representatives Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell, who had a years-long sexual affair with a Chinese spy named Fang Fang, leaked classified documents to the press? Why didn't they prosecute the leakers? The Department of Justice Inspector General is asking the same question. But honestly, the bill has language in it now that would protect the corruptniks from being held accountable, because they get to write the law, right? Isn't that amazing? And that's only one of the elements in this thing that makes it impossible to vote for if you're a person of conscience, if you're an honest person. And there's, I love this too, Rand Paul. Rand Paul's on again, off again, but that's fine. People are allowed to be on again and off again. And it's not like I always agree with Rand Paul, but I do an awful lot of the time. And I think he's fun. And he's been violently attacked repeatedly, at least 3 times by Democrats, including broken ribs, puncturing his lung while mowing his lawn in his front yard, mowing his own lawn, not having an illegal alien do it, as all the Democrats love to yell about. Who do you think's going to cut your lawn if you don't have millions of illegal aliens in the country? Who do you think's cleaning the dishes in the back of the house at your favorite restaurant? It's like they love slavery. They are the party of slavery. Isn't that amazing? Oh, we got more slavery today, too, from crazy Democrat racist Congresswoman. But here's a great tweet from Rand Paul. And it's kind of funny because an hour ago I was saying, you don't have to be a member of the House of Representatives to be Speaker of the House. And I said I should become Speaker of the House. I was being tongue-in-cheek, but I should become Speaker of the House for a year, maybe 6 months, and turn everything upside down and shake the bag out and restore regular order in the House and require Congress to do its job properly and stuff. But here comes Senator Rand Paul, and he says, maybe he was listening to the radio show, I don't know. He says, the Speaker of the House need not be a member of Congress. Well, that's what I just said. Isn't that amazing? Nothing would disrupt the swamp more than electing Elon Musk as Speaker of the House, is what Rand Paul is saying. And again, the election for Speaker is January 3rd, and the current Speaker of the House may or may not be in a strong position to stay Speaker of the House because it's complicated business. But I love the Rand Paul suggestion that on January 3rd, Republicans elect Elon Musk, right, the Department of Government Efficiency, as Speaker of the House to restore sanity to the government. And he doesn't care. It's not like he's looking for an expensive, high-paying job later on. That's great. So Rand Paul says nothing would disrupt the swamp more than electing Elon Musk as Speaker of the House. Think about it. Nothing's impossible, not to mention the joy at seeing the collective establishment, a.k.a. the Uniparty, lose their ever-loving minds. I think that is a really fun idea. And a civics lesson would be played out in real time in American politics. I think that's a wonderful idea. And if Elon's too busy, and he's busy, make it Vivek Ramaswamy. Crazy man, crazy. Yes, sir. All right. A lot going on, a lot to get to. Audio, members of Congress, all kinds of good stuff. Make your holidays, we're on the brink, bigger and brighter with Prize Picks. The very best place to get real money action, sports action, while you're watching your favorite sports. With more than 10 million members and billions of American dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all of us. The app is incredibly simple to use. You pick two or more players across any sport. You pick more or less on their projections, and you could win up to, hang on, 1,000 times your money. Join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Pixmas. Prize Picks, it's Pixmas. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code PLANT. That's me, PLANTE, to get a $50 credit instantly when you play only $5. That's code PLANT on Prize Picks to get a $50 credit instantly when you play only $5. You don't even need to win to get your $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Honestly, must be present in certain states where wagering is legal. Visit prizepicks.com for details and restrictions. Yeah, a really fun idea by Rand Paul. This is one I'm going to agree with him on. Outside of the box and all that good stuff. Elect Elon Musk, Speaker of the House. Backup plan, Vivek Ramaswamy. That would be great fun, and it would shake up our uniparty. He's right. Wonderful stuff. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. All right, let's grab a quick phone call, Michael. Lots of smart people hanging on the line, great Americans. And I have an amazing update for you on the Luigi Mangione, the CEO assassin that the Democrats love and want to date. They want their daughters to date him, and they want to date him themselves. Let's grab a phone call. Let's go to Dave, calling from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Dave, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm great, Dave. What do you say?
Well, I've been thinking about this whole continuing resolution thing, and, back in the real world, when you have to actually do budgets, where is the accountability? And simple as this, going around the table with all the board members and say, okay, who wants to put this item in? Sir, that would be me. And, okay, fine. So now we have who did what? So who put in that they're exempt from Obamacare?
Right.
Which one of you did that? Where's the soundbite right there? Who decided y'all should get a raise? I did. Okay, now we have another soundbite. Maybe change the Doge to Doge and add an A for accountability.
That would ruin everything. All right, so Luigi Mangione, who was driven mad by the Democrat Party, who taught him to hate a lot, to hate the American health care, the insurance industry. How do they teach people to hate that? Just by repetition. A lie told once remains a lie told 1,000 times becomes the truth, as their boy Joseph Goebbels taught them. So they tell the lie 1,000 times, and our healthcare system is guilty and blood on their hands, and they have killed more people than 1,000 9/11 terrorists. That's what Michael Moore said, the award-winning left-wing radical extremist filmmaker. And so Luigi was driven mad, and he murdered a CEO, of course, and the Democrats love him for it because they're not liberals, they're the left, and the left has murdered 100 million people since 1917 in the name of utopia, right? But they drove Luigi mad, and so he committed murder, an assassination. And so Luigi, you may have seen, was pulled out of his jail cell today and went to court to deal with the extradition, his extradition to New York to face his first-degree murder charge and his second-degree murder charge, and then his other second-degree murder charge with terrorism attached, and then a gun charge, because that's really the important one for Democrats. But Luigi is being moved, even as we speak, from Pennsylvania to New York, where he'll be thrown in another jail cell, and he will face trial, presumably, even though Alvin Bragg is the prosecutor there, and he's a George Soros radical, racist, extremist, anti-American, anti-law and order, anti-justice, anti-police prosecutor, a Democrat, right? But Luigi, he is now, he waived, his lawyers waived extradition in the end because it was inevitable. So Luigi, the suspect in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, has formally waived extradition to New York. He's expected to be flown from Pennsylvania to New York today. And in fact, he's already been taken away by vehicle, by, an automobile or a van from the courthouse there. So that's happening. But here's the next phase in this, because the Democrats, this is where the Democrats come in. Newsweek magazine with the headline, Luigi Mangione. It's a great name. I'm sorry, it's a great name. Luigi Mangione. The prosecutors have a jury problem. This is the headline in Newsweek magazine. Luigi Mangione prosecutors have a jury problem. Quote, so much sympathy. So much sympathy. Now, how do the prosecutors even know that? How would they know that? Have they started the jury process yet, the jury selection, the voir dire process? No, they haven't. They just know that it's a city full of Democrats. And that's all they need to know, that Democrats love murder, because you're supposed to hate a CEO who's been successful. New York is full of CEOs, of course, and this CEO didn't even live in New York. But never mind that. And you've got Democrats all over the place. Like, here's a deck of cards of other CEOs, 52 other CEOs, maybe plus a couple of jokers and all that stuff. Now, if a conservative put together a deck of cards of liberals that should be assassinated, that'd be a real problem. Although that guy did have a visit from the police, didn't he, with the deck of cards. Wouldn't be recommended behavior, if you asked me. So an attorney has said that jury selection may be very difficult in Luigi Mangione's murder trial, as there is so much public sympathy for the alleged killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. And that's 100% on Democrats and because of Democrats. Nima Rahmani, who was a federal prosecutor in California, said the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg will have to be very careful during the jury selection process. No, he'll put poison pills in there on purpose so that they'll get the minimal charge and, maybe a hung jury, because, here is the videotape of Luigi, and here's the DNA of Luigi, and here's the manifesto of Luigi and everything else. The handwriting sample from the shell casings that he left at the scene of the murder. Amazing stuff. I've never seen an alleged murderer receive so much sympathy. To many people, Mangione is a hero of sorts, said Nima Rahmani, the former California prosecutor. Rahmani, now the president of the West Coast Trial Lawyers law firm in California, West Coast Trial Lawyers, that's the name of their law firm, said that that prosecutors must look out for pro-Mangione sympathizers who may try to get on the jury. Can you imagine? Our country is so screwed, and it's all because of the left, which means the Democrat Party, who are not liberals. They're the left, and they love murder. They love death more than we love life. They're like Al-Qaeda in that regard. Isn't that amazing? District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office is going to have to weed out stealth jurors during voir dire. They may want to acquit to send a message to health insurance companies. Listen to this. This is psychotic, and it's mainstream psychosis, by the way. This is not some fringe discussion. Voir dire is the process through which prosecutors and defense teams ask jurors written or oral questions to assess their sympathies. Both teams will be given an opportunity to eliminate potential jurors they believe are too sympathetic to one side or the other. Sure, everybody's seen My Cousin Vinny. You don't need to explain the voir dire process. A voir dire. Isn't that amazing? So just amazing. On Tuesday, Mangione was charged in New York with first-degree murder in furtherance of terrorism. Newsweek magazine reports. Actually, it was. I don't think that's even right. It was first-degree murder, is true, then second-degree murder in advancement of terrorism, and then another second-degree murder charge, but never mind that. So they're terribly afraid. They're terribly afraid already that the jury pool in New York is going to be so pro-murder that they've got to start discussing what to do about it now. Start talking early, because. And that is the Democrat Party in 2024. No doubt about it.
Everyone is obsessed. People are saying a New York jury has the power to find him innocent because we all love him. I'm not mad at him.
And that's supposed to be a late-night TV comedy. They pay people many, many millions of dollars a year to come up with great stuff like that. Mainstream Democrat Party stuff, not fringe stuff, not living on a mountaintop in a cabin like their boy, the Unabomber, who was a left-wing environmental terrorist, an eco-terrorist, by the way. But never mind that. All right, let's get back to the continuing resolution on Capitol Hill. Luigi Mangione, he's on his way to New York. And the Democrats, they're going to, oh, good, they're going to put pro-murder jurors on the Mangione jury to get him off, so to speak, because they look at him and they know that one thing they want to do, they want to get him off. Isn't that amazing? All right, let's get back to the continuing resolution, which is so completely ridiculous, I got to say. Now, the Speaker of the entire House of Representatives, for now at least until they have another vote on who will be Speaker of the House January 3rd. And again, Rand Paul recommending that Elon Musk be made the Speaker of the House, which is fascinating. And who is it? A friend of mine, Robert, sent along, said, it could be complicated having Elon Musk as Speaker of the House, since Speaker of the House can be third in line to the presidency. If both the president and the vice president are killed simultaneously, the Speaker of the House is next in line, right? And so we got that. Or now let's get back to, but we'll burn that bridge when we get to it, I guess. Let's go to Speaker of the entire House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, because he's been having conversations about this bill. This bill, I believe, is dead. It's dead on arrival. It's not going anywhere. They're going to, and it's good that it's dead. Let's start over with a clean, and they like to use the word clean, continuing resolution, and not a dirty one, because this is a very dirty continuing resolution. And the Democrats love it, and we'll demonstrate that, too, with the very corrupt and awful Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat leader in the House of Representatives. But here's the Speaker of the House yesterday.
Elon and Vivek and I are on a text chain together, and I was explaining to them the background of this. And Vivek and I talked last night about almost midnight, and he said, look, I get it. He said, we understand you're in an impossible position. Everybody knows that. Remember, guys, we still have just a razor-thin margin of Republicans, so any bill has to have Democrat votes. They understand the situation. They said, it's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending. I said, guess what, fellas? I don't either. We got to get this done, because here's the key. By doing this, we are clearing the decks, and we are setting up for Trump to come in roaring back with the America First agenda.
Well, that's true. That would be true if this were what we like to call a clean HR, or CR rather, House resolution, be a normal bill. We don't do those very much anymore. But you want a clean continuing resolution, not loaded down with pork and ridiculous stuff. And again, the bill is 1,547 pages long. It should be 20 pages long, but never mind that. Hakeem Jeffries is a radical, an extremist, an America hater, and a Democrat. And here's he's the Democrat leader in the House of Representatives.
House Republicans have now unilaterally decided to break a bipartisan agreement that they made. House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government and hurt everyday Americans all across this country.
He's a horrible, lying Sacagawea. Would it be wrong to call him a political terrorist? I think he's probably a political terrorist. Hakeem Jeffries, very much the extremist. And what does he do? Well, it's all politics all the time, 100% of the time. He's filth. He is greedy, power-drunk, un-American. And he sabotaged this and then immediately comes out. And the news media, and it was this amazing moment. He was standing there talking to cameras surrounded by a whole bunch of reporters who were dutifully behaving as the stenographers that they are, typing in their idiotic little phones. What did Hakeem say? Because that's what I'm going to say. And when he said, that's it, and he turned to walk away, nobody shouted. One person said, what about the, and that was it. There were like 40 of them there, and they didn't start shouting questions at him. What about this? What about that? That didn't happen because they're fluffers and not journalists. Hakeem Jeffries continues to smear and slander and spread the lie. Once it's told 1,000 times, it will be the truth.
House Republicans will now own any harm that is visited upon the American people that results from a government shutdown or worse. An agreement
or worse
is an agreement. It was bipartisan, and there was nothing more to say.
Well, I got to say, and that's where Speaker Johnson failed, is he allowed the Democrats to carpet bomb this piece of legislation with a lot of bourgeois that only left-wing extremists would want. And now it's got to be sunk. You sunk my battleship and started over again. Now, this was a great moment. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, very much in the news these days, she printed out a copy of the continuing resolution, 1,547 pages, and it is from your fingertip to your elbow high, if you're 6 feet tall. It's that high. And then she held up the last continuing resolution, which is about 6 pages. Maybe it's 20 pages, as much as 20 pages. Nancy Mace made a video with the stack, the current continuing resolution, right in front of her on the desk, and then the last one, which is almost wafer thin, right in front of her.
So we printed off the CR that dropped last night and the last CR that Congress did. And wouldn't you know, the CR that was done in September went from September 26th to December 20th, 85 days for this CR. It's 21 pages. Now we have the next CR that we're going to be voting on in the next day or two. It is 1,547 pages. And wouldn't you know, it lasts for a shorter period of time, 84 days instead of 85 days. I'm not a mathematician, but this does not add up.
I'm not a mathematician, but this does not add up. And there's a visual demonstration of it right in front of her, Nancy Mace.
So we're going through the bill. The first 14 pages currently are just a table of contents. Page 15 is where technically the CR portion of the bill is. It's 9 pages long. And then everything after the 9 pages for the CR is just noise.
9 pages, the actual thing. It's not noise, it's hundreds of billions of dollars in unnecessary spending, which you could call noise. Congresswoman Nancy Mace.
For example, there are 500 plus pages related to healthcare policy, which doesn't have anything to do with keeping the government open. There's $100 billion of disaster relief in here, which is desperately needed, by the way, but should be its own standalone bill. But this is what Congress does to hold members hostage who need disaster relief for their districts, their states, after the hurricanes. It's wrong to hold people hostage over something that's desperately needed, and we have funding for it for all this other junk that's in here.
They should come out and label Hakeem Jeffries Hakeem the hostage taker. Call him Hakeem the hostage taker Jeffries, but the Republicans allow all this stuff to go in there. Shouldn't have allowed all this stuff to go in there. Now it's got to be sunk and start over again. You know that nothing delivers comfort and joy in the Christmas season quite like the unrivaled, delicious quality and flavor of Omaha steaks. You know, Omaha steaks, guaranteed perfection in every bite. And right now, you can save big money on unforgettable gifts for coworkers and family and neighbors with 50% off the entire website at omahasteaks.com. Plus, because you hang out with me, get another $30 off with the promo code PLANT. Growing up in Chicago and the North Shore, used to envy my neighbors when they got their shipments of Omaha steaks. Oh, no, look at that. I would look over the fence, envy, while they were grilling their steaks, and I never ate at all. Now I get Omaha steaks delivered to my house, and they're delicious. From legendary steaks to mouth-watering desserts and more, you get to save 50% off the entire Omaha Steaks website for a limited time at omahasteaks.com. Plus, because you listen to my show, my humble radio show, you get another $30 off with the promo code PLANT. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and another $30 off at the promo code PLANT. A minimum purchase may apply. Please visit omahasteaks.com for all the delicious details. Bump, 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 bump. Our government, we got a new one coming in soon, but right now still pretty broken. We're at 888-630-9625. Ah, yes. Now let's go back to the telephones. There are more topics to get to today as well. Yeah, Luigi. How can they convict Luigi in New York since they all love murder? All these Democrats, and they love murdering CEOs, and he's very popular. He could run for mayor. Might be hard to convict him. Trump, you can convict. A guy who assassinated a CEO, that could be tough. All right, let's go. We don't have a ton of time. You're looking at me. You're right. Yeah, there's only don't have enough time to go to a call and do you justice because, Michael keeps talking. I'll blame him. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's it. But we've got more on that. And, the racist Nancy Pelosi, we've got that. And Jasmine Crockett, what does she say about Latinx, Democrat Congresswoman? She's got a message for Latinx, and if you're Latinx, you're not going to like it. We've got lots of good stuff coming up, and the news as it breaks.